What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. Now, I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Tyler. And due to the recent PS4 Slim leaks that have kind of just came out, we thought it'd be wise to bring you our PS4 Slim and Neo predictions. So we know Sony is going to have a press conference September 7th, which up until this point, Tyler, we thought was going to be all
just
Neo.
about Neo,
but
yeah.
now it seems like it's going to be maybe a little bit of a combination thing.
Yeah.
So let's predict what we're going to see and what's going to happen with these next two PlayStation consoles. What do you think?
Well, I guess right now I have two questions for you, probably one later, but two questions for you. Do you think that these leaked images of this PS4 Slim, do you think that they are real? Or do you think they're fake?
I think they are very real.
I think they're real.
Very.
And then, now, I'll ask you after I say my prediction. The question is, what is the PS4 Slim? What is it going to be priced? And my prediction, it's actually overly bold. My prediction for this PS4 Slim, based on how, I don't want to say it looks cheap. I actually like the way it looks. I think it could look a little bit better, but I actually like the way it looks. But it doesn't look as like premium, I guess. Like if you were to put this PS4 Slim next to the Xbox One S, Xbox One S looks a little bit better. Therefore, I think the PS4 Slim will be priced at $250.
Wow.
$250. That is my prediction, and I actually have a feeling I may be right. Cause I don't know if you agree, but it does not look. It looks fine. It looks good. It looks modern. Just it looks slightly cheap-ish. Not saying I wouldn't buy it. I would, but looks cheap.
So two questions for you then.
Yeah.
First one being, so Slim gets announced, right?
Yes.
And then they say the price. Whatever
They'll start
it
with
is,
the PS4 Slim. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what happens then to the PS4?
Well, okay. I was just gonna get to that. So, yeah. Whoa. That I don't know what they're gonna do. With like the remaining PS4s that are out there, the original PS4s, I don't quite know.
Microsoft and how when Scorpio or when Xbox when it comes out, Xbox One is basically done. Like no more producing.
Right. Right.
No
So
more selling.
that's what they're gonna do too. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna announce the Slim. They're gonna I'm saying $250 for the PS4 Slim. That'll be coming out February 2017. They will then announce a PS4 price drop for the PS4s basically that we have, the original PS4 owners.
Right.
And that is what's it? It's $350 right now, right? Yeah, it's $350 right now.
Yeah.
They're gonna announce a price drop to $300. That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
And then
that's my prediction.
That's what they'll do for the regular PS4. And then the PS4 Neo, I think, I'm back and forth. I want to say that they're going to do $450 for the Neo, but I almost think that it's going to be $400 for the Neo.
I'd say $399. I'd say $400 as well.
That's what I actually think is that they're going to do, which will cause people to complain and say, well, I bought mine at $400 and it's nowhere near as good. Well, guess what? Technology changes every 6 months, so you can't blame Sony for that. And you know that's what's going to happen because that's what always happens with these consoles. So
when does Neo come out?
So Neo will come out probably, I would say, well, you know what? It would be how ironic if November 13th was a Friday this year. It isn't. It might come out. I would say maybe November 11th. They'll do PS4 Neo. That's what I think. But I do think they would do the PS4 Slim in February because you would think that they would want it out for the Christmas holiday season, but you don't though because you want to get rid of your ones that are out there right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and that would help because that's the perfect timing because now, okay, whatever's left, you're good, and those will sell. And now you also have the Neo in the market too. So it'll be, do I want to spend $300 or do I want to spend $400 $400 you get the better console, $300 you get the other one. Huh?
But do you think it's a Microsoft kind of thing? How
I think they don't care what
saying,
Microsoft's doing.
Why would you? No, I mean, no, I mean, do you think it's gonna be like a Microsoft where it's like, why would I buy the PS4 at 300 if I wait until beginning of next year and then I can get the Slim for possibly 250 or 300?
For 250, exactly.
So
Well, it's a really good point.
Unless they drop the PS4, the normal one, to like 250.
No, see, they can't because.
Slim ends up being like 300.
But no, see, that doesn't make sense. You can't go down and then you can't bring it up. That's why it has to. That's why I'm saying it has to be.
It would have to match the price at least or lower.
But then again, yeah. But that's why I'm saying the PS4 regular PS4 will go down to 300. PS4 Slim will be 250. Because now it'll be like, okay, well, do you want and then you'll be able to tell the difference between a regular PS4 and an elite PS4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you have it, like if the Neo came out right now and you set them beside each other, it's like, well, that's 350 and that's 400 or 450. Well, why would I spend only $100 extra? Like, why you know what I mean? But now it's like, oh, this is the more affordable PS4, which is why it looks the way it looks. That's why I think that they did it. For the more, that would be for the more casual gamer, this PS4 Slim. And you could use it more for like, well, I don't have a smart TV maybe, so I have Netflix now and all that, you know what I mean? And then I can also play games. So they're almost taking the Xbox mindset, but they're actually doing it in a smart way because it's literally the same PS4 that we have, just more compact and better for way less.
Yeah. We both think the Neo is coming out this year. I think it makes sense to do it.
I think they have to do it this year. Yeah. The VR.
Especially because is it risky launching it close to the VR? Maybe, but
I don't think it is.
You want it with it.
Yeah, it's exactly why.
Want it because the VR is better. We know that too.
That is why. And the other smart thing too. So that's a good point. And the other reason I thought about the 250 for the Slim is, well, you want to also sell the VR system, but if you have, which is 400 or whatever it is, but if you have your console at 350, well, who's going to want to spend almost $800? That's a lot of money. Like for the people coming into it, say. But now it's like, okay, well, if it's 250, and then maybe they do a VR bundle or whatever, and it's like 500. Yeah, like that's probably what they would do. Like it's 500 for the PS4 Slim and the VR. That's actually that's actually a pretty good deal. And the people who would get the PS4 Neo, which I don't know if they're actually going to. I don't think they're calling it the PS4 Neo. I don't know what they're going to call it. PS4 X, maybe. No, they won't use an X. Sorry, I forgot about Xbox. But it will be something along those lines. It won't be PS4 Neo, but those are more like super hardcore gamers, which is good because that'll help us get more PC games on PS4. But that's a different. I think it's smart. I think they're kind of going, like you said, they're going for everyone. Well, now you can actually see who they're targeting. Because before it was just gamers, right? Well, I don't want to say gamers, but it was you had to cover casual gamers, and hardcore gamers all in one console. Well, not anymore. Now you could cover casual gamers, regular gamers, and hardcore gamers, but amongst different systems. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so now you don't have to like pick like, well, why do maybe I don't want to spend so much if I don't play that much. Well, that's fine. You can get the Slim. It's $250. And if you are like Nick, our friend Nick, well then maybe you'll get the PS4 Neo because you're a hardcore gamer and blah 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 blah, and you like PC games, and they're going to be having a lot of PC games. So now like you actually know what you're getting, based on the price and based on what it is. Yeah. So I also really quickly end up getting what? No, go ahead. I was just gonna ask the question. So, like, would you wouldn't get it like launch, but would you eventually get the Neo? It all depends on. I don't know. It honestly depends on what it is, and it depends on what it offers, what the difference is, right now I say no. But I mean, and I don't know how much longer the original PS4, like the day one editions, like I don't know how much longer they have. I would hope, like a while, but you just don't know.
Well, we're going into year 3 here.
Yeah. So I mean, probably another year. But see, and then it runs into, okay, well, PS5 is probably coming out soon, within like 3 years. So it's like, well, do you really want to drop? Well, then again, by then we'll be looking at a PS4 Neo for $350 or $300 by then. So I mean, it's tough to know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly think I would. If my PS4 died, I honestly think I'd get a PS4 Slim, not a Neo.
Yeah,
it depends. It all depends. But
yeah, and like for me, I'm getting VR personally, so I wouldn't get it right away. But I think eventually I'd probably get the Neo. So Tyler, here's a question for. So what you said it's smart. I just want to re-emphasize it. So do you is good that all these new, so we're not used to this, right? The PS3 came out, what, 9 years later, or it came out 2006,
it was a while,
and this came out in 2013, so it went 8 years. So do you like that now they're doing these in-between things? Because I know there's a divide
I think
in people.
they have absolutely no choice. Do I like it? No, because I get screwed. The people who bought the original ones get screwed, but we actually, no one should complain, because we should be very happy that these consoles don't act like our smartphones do. And not act, I mean the business model. Because look at smartphones, every freaking year. It used to be like, for, let's say, a Samsung, every 2 years, every 3 years. Now it's every single year. So let's just be thankful that we haven't had a new PS4 console in 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, compared to phones, no matter what you do, you're always behind. By the time you get it, you're a phone behind. So at least with this, we had time, and it's like, yeah. So I actually, and I don't blame them, because technology gets better. And it's like, well, why would you want to wait until, if it came out in what, 2013? Well, do you want to wait as a company? Do you want to wait in 6 years to come out with your next console? And it's like, well, look, but you could have done so much, like 3 years in, that would have made it so much better. It's like, well, why would you ever want to hold yourself back like that? Yeah. So I honestly don't blame them at all. I don't blame them at all.
Right.
And then when you introduce things like VR, where you are gonna need it, you're gonna need that extra power. Then you get the games where it's like, okay, well, the games at this point, have they been that great? They could be better, but like technology-wise and engine-wise, I think the leap from where it was in 2013 when PS4 launched to where they can be right now with the Neo, I think it's actually huge. I think it might be almost as big as a gap as the PS3 to the PS4. I really do. I know we haven't seen that, but I have a really big feeling that it's gonna be that, because for Sean Murray to say No Man's Sky is gonna be a totally different game, that means that this thing is actually super powerful. So why would you want to hold yourself back? Which actually should make people happy that the manufacturer, the company, in this case Sony, they actually do care about their console, and they whether you're getting screwed or not, you should be happy that, wow, they actually do care, like, about their product and how it functions, that it does get better, that they do update it, they are up to date. Like, you should be happy that they're doing that. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you have to buy it, and it sucks and stuff, but eventually when the PS5 is there, you'll be very happy that along the way they did keep up with where technology was.
Right. Yeah, and I think like with the PS3, you kept seeing developers say every year they kept saying, oh, we got, like, so okay, say Uncharted, the first Uncharted, I think they said they got like 50% out of the PS3, and then Uncharted 2 they got like 70, but it took a
long time for PS3, not PS4.
I feel like for PS4, even though like you said, and I definitely agree, the games other than a couple, it hasn't been I mean, it's only been 3 years, but the games haven't been the greatest. But they've reached, like, I feel like how much more can it go past like Uncharted 4? And I feel like developers have said like they've gotten a lot out of the PS4, so it's taken them less than half the time to get the same amount out. So I think I mean, right, well, like you said, you can either wait another 3 years of these games just being flat now because there's nowhere else to go. And then if you want to push VR, you're going to need something more powerful. If you want to get to the next, if you want to get like the Cyberpunk game, how just the engine,
yeah,
how great it was.
See, exactly, like I actually thought about that. Exactly, like their next game, like the people who made The Witcher, everyone loved The Witcher, I love The Witcher, but it's like their next game, do you really want their next game to be held back because you don't want Sony to come out with another console? Do you really want that next game to not be as good as it can be? Why would you never want something to be to the fullest potential? Just because you can't afford it or you don't want to spend it, then you don't buy it. And yeah, does it suck? Of course it sucks, but it's almost selfish. You know what I mean? And I don't like thinking like that, but you have to, because that's just how technology. No, it's not like Sony's the one that makes this technology. Like all these things, they get updated every 6 months. Everything's obsolete. So it's like you can't blame them for having to make a slim model at $250, a more advanced elite model at $400. Then it's like, okay, well now we still got the freaking people, or we still have the regular PS4s out there. So yeah, there's within what, 6 months? When's February? 6 months?
Yeah, pretty much.
So within 6 months, there's going to be 3 different kinds of PS4s out there that all will look all different, and will 2 will function the same, but 1 will function completely different, but 3 different designs. Is that confusing to consumers? Yeah. Is that confusing to consumers that don't know a lot? Of course it is. But guess what? That can't stop them. It's an unfortunate thing, and I'm sure that they really don't want to do it. I mean, I know that they do because they want to make money, but above it all, like, it's still confusing, and you never want to confuse consumers, and you never want to make your fans unhappy either. But what's more important? Bettering yourself and for the future for those people that are gonna buy your next console, or do you just sit back and say, well, they're not gonna be happy, so we're gonna have to kind of suffer along with the games, and nothing's gonna be as good as they can be? Well, no, that would be stupid. So to me, they're doing the right thing. They're doing the right thing. But I do think the PS4 Neo. So like this whole time, everyone's been thinking, and I didn't think so. I didn't. But I didn't know how much of a change it would be. But this whole time, I think everyone was thinking the PS4 Neo was going to look exactly like the PS4 that I'm looking at right now. And I can tell you that it will not look anything like this original PS4. I think that the PS4 Neo is going to be a cross between the original PS4 and this new PS4 Slim design. And I do not think the PS4 Neo is going to be much bigger than the PS4 Slim. It's going to be smaller than the original PS4, but it won't be as small as the new Slim. Like there's literally going to be 3 different PS4 designs.
Although I think after Black Friday, once it gets into December, we may hear that they're maybe stopping the PS4, the normal. I'm sure. Wouldn't do that until the Slim comes out.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I mean, they're not going to say it, but like they will, like after. You know what I mean? Like in some kind of not Shuhei Yoshida, but whatever. In Crossing, he said that they're going to stop production as of December 1st, 2016. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah,
but that's what they'll do.
We gotta get so let's recap. So how much is the Slim? When does it come out? How much is the Neo? When does it come out?
Yeah.
How much does the PS4 cost?
Go down to. So I say the PS4 Slim comes out February 2017, and it will cost $250. The original PS4 will, effective September 7th, will go down to $300. And then the PS4 Neo will be priced at $400, and I think that will come out in November. I said November 11th, but I think it'll be November. Yep.
I'd do the same. I'd say PS4 definitely drops to 300. The Slim would either be 250 or 300. I think you're right. I think it needs to be the Slim needs to be
way less.
150 less than the Neo.
It has to be.
So if the Neo's 450, 300 for the Slim would also work.
Yeah,
but I think it needs to be. It can't be, like you said, it can't be 100 less, because when you, like you said, when you put them side by side and you look,
you would never buy the other one.
Right. So 100 isn't enough. 150, although it's only $50, that does just, like, to the mind.
It does.
That would do it. So yeah, I'd say that. Neo definitely comes out this holiday. I'd say, yeah, you gotta push. I mean, what, VR comes out October 7th or something. So you gotta push. The Neo can't come out right over. I don't even think it can come out the same month, because I think you really gotta push the VR.
It can't, because you need to, yeah.
Yeah, so the first week, second week in November, right before Black Friday.
Basically like the original launch of the PS4, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's very exciting.
It is.
Anything to add?
No, that's all. That's all. It was actually pretty, I was shocked when I saw that leak. I wasn't shocked, because I've been predicting for the last friggin' 2 years a PS4 Slim. But...
I think people thought that could have happened at E3.
E3, I did, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it was a shock, but I was happy to see that actually.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this definitely pushes things along, which is very nice. So guys, what do you think about both the PS4 Slim and the Neo? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to Podcast Now, our YouTube channel. Make sure you like the video, share with all your friends, and we will see you on the next one.